Hey everyone, before we start the show, I just want to get some plugs out of the way. If you enjoy this podcast and you're into wrestling, check out the Nerds and Marks podcast or Marty and Sarah Love Wrestling. If you're not getting your fill on movie and entertainment discussion, then check out the Entertainment Buffet podcast. If you want to dive into the world of video games, I highly recommend the Darkcast by my friends over at darkstation.com. Listen to them cover important topics and interview men and women from all over the industry. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show. Hello everyone and welcome to Shelved. I am your host, Jeremy Meyer. So it's been a while since I've posted anything, so I kind of have a lot to kind of go over, and this is going to be a little update episode. And I know my last episode I posted was an update, but I had plans to be coming back sooner, and then some things came up, and we're going to be coming back a little later than we normally would. And it's been so long, I'm actually feeling uncomfortable again in the microphone. So why don't we just get right into it? So first of all, I just want to apologize because I am sick as I'm recording this. I am just coming off of a sickness. I was actually going to record this last weekend, but then I got struck down by like a major cold, and I'm still a little phlegmy, and it's just kind of been a bad time over here. But so a little bit of an update. I had to take some time off because we got busy at work during my day job, and I just kind of wasn't having time for the show. And then just when I was getting ready to go back into the show, then I had some bad stuff kind of happen in my personal life, car accident that took a lot of stress and energy to get through. And then once that was all done, we had a loss in the family, and then more busy time at work, which I am currently in the middle of. So it's kind of been a lot of crazy stuff going on. During that time, I have been working pretty hard on some of my own personal projects, some personal writing stuff of mine. And hopefully in the future, I will be able to talk about some of that stuff in a more meaningful capacity, but for the time being, I kind of just have to leave it at that. Just I got some stuff that I'm working on that hopefully will lead to some cool, exciting things happening. So I hope to be able to talk about that, but there's no real reason to talk about it soon because at the moment there's nothing really to say. I've been using that time off to kind of work on some of my own personal writing stuff and kind of just thinking about this show and like the future of the show. And, you know, I had a pretty successful first year from what I was kind of my anticipations. I never really anticipated it to be as big as it was, and hitting 10,000 downloads for me after a first year, I was like, oh man, I'd be happy if I got like 500 downloads in the first year. So I really want to thank and appreciate everyone who listened and downloaded and shared with your friends and talks with me on Twitter. I've met some great people on Twitter and made some friends, and anyone who's just been a fan, like I really appreciate it. It wouldn't be what it is without you. I mean, I'd be doing this if there was one person listening, but knowing that I have this, little audience that I've carved out for myself just makes it that much better and that much harder that I had to step away for so long. Just, a lot of unforeseen circumstances kind of coming in the way, but I am kind of thankful in a way because it gave me a lot of time to work on some stuff and to think, and the show is getting ready to come back. I'm going to be not like relaunching, but basically like a season 2 launch in October, starting on October 1st. And there's going to be some kind of changes coming to the show. We are still going to be covering the scripts, the unproduced scripts that I have. That's still going to be the main focus of the show. But kind of putting together these script episodes does take a lot of time and a lot more work. So what I plan on doing, so we're going to launch on October 1st with a new episode, and that's going to, October 1st is actually going to be, because I'm not actually looking at my calendar here for the dates, because we are going to stick to the Monday release schedule, but with October, we're going to do the same thing we did last year. I always say we. I'm going to be doing the same thing I did last year, which is going to be Shocktober, which Monday actually is, or October 1st actually is a Monday. So our first new episode, our new script episode, and our first Shocktober episode will be dropping on the same day. So if you don't remember what Shocktober was last year, it's where I watch a horror movie for every day in October, and I post a little review on it. And chances are I will probably not hit every day in October, and I will probably miss some. And just a little peek behind the curtain, I do kind of start this a little early because I obviously have to work during the day, so I don't have time to watch a horror movie every day. So I do try to cram some on the weekends, and I'm not watching one every day. Sometimes I usually start in September and try to get through as many as I can. And last year, I think I got through 19 movies before we had a medical emergency that kind of took up a lot of my podcast time. And this is something I do every October, like even in my personal life, is, we're going to do Shocktober. We're going to watch a movie every day in October, and I've never finished. So my goal is to finish every year. I'm going to do 31 movies. How many days are in October? 31. I'm going to do 31 horror movies for October. And maybe this will be the year I finally do it. But I've already started loading up on horror films. I've watched a couple. So what's going to happen is every day in October, they're short little episodes. It's going to be like 5-10 minutes. And it's just going to be a little review on the movie. I usually end up diving into spoilers, but for some, depending on the movie, I'll always try to give a warning. This year I want to have more of a format to my Shocktober episodes, where last year I kind of just flew by the seat of my pants and just like, I watched this movie, here's my thoughts on this movie. This year, I'm gonna try to start with a synopsis of the movie, maybe dig more into like the directors and stars and kind of give that information. Then I'll do a little review, and then I'll do some spoiler discussion. So, every episode will probably be like 5-10 minutes at most. Not that long. But that'll start in October, and it'll go for as long as I can keep it going. Hopefully all 31 days, but we'll see where that goes. And I've already started compiling a list of films, but I do still have a lot of empty slots. I'm always looking for movies that I probably haven't seen before, but I am looking for suggestions for movies. So if you want to suggest any horror films, send those over to the Twitter @ShelvedPodcast, or the Instagram, also @ShelvedPodcast, or send it to the email at shelvedfilmpodcast@gmail.com. I definitely need at least like 15 movies still. Otherwise, I'm just going to be digging through the bottom of Netflix and pulling out some random garbage. But yeah, so be sure to send those over. And so what's going to happen with the show is the script episodes are going to become an every other week kind of thing. So there'll be a couple a month. We'll do one on the first week. And then the next weeks, the in-between weeks, I want to feature different kinds of episodes. Currently, I am in the process of setting up multiple interviews with people in the film industry, some people in some movies that are coming up that I'm excited for, some people who work behind the scenes in the industry, some people I've maybe even interviewed before, have them back on to talk about, just kind of anything, the industry, movies they saw. I've always wanted to incorporate more of an interview structure, and I will definitely even be considering people who don't really have anything to do with movies, but maybe have some interesting stuff going on that I want to talk about. I will also be having Brandon Prosick, who was on the show at one point. He recently put on his second series of plays. So we had discussed, I had talked about his first play a while back on the show when that aired or debuted. And we talked about kind of doing a wrap-up show, just kind of discussing, the process and, his feelings about the shows and stuff that we never really got around to. But now that he's done his second string of shows, we're going to circle around back to that idea and kind of probably talk about both series of shows. It's kind of just working on the scheduling right now. I do have some guests that I've been talking to about coming on to talk about some scripts, and I'm actually going to be looking. I did this once before. I'm going to be looking at a comic book that was once going to be a movie that got turned into a comic book, and I do have a guest lined up for that one. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm trying to get some more different episodes in there. There was some stuff I did in the past that I would like to do more of, such as like a movie pitch episode, some audio commentary tracks. But some of that stuff might actually move on to Bandcamp as kind of some bonus feature stuff that if you want to check it out, you can, and maybe kick a little cash over. Like the Bandcamp episodes, they would all be like 99 cents, and I would do audio commentary tracks. So if you'd like to listen to some audio commentary tracks, I plan on getting a bunch of those up, some franchise movies, maybe even some movies I've never seen, and get some first reaction commentary tracks up there. That's stuff I'm going to be looking into, and it's kind of the way, like, hey, if you really want to support the show and you want to kick over 99 cents or $1, you can do that and, get some extra content that may be fun for you to listen to. And I really want to set all those commentaries up with guests, and I definitely have some people that I've been talking to in the past about being on some of those commentary tracks, so they're not going to be some solo ones like you've heard before, but that's kind of some of the stuff in the plans right now. So it's going to be some interviews, some of the script episodes, and then kind of just like the bonus episodes in between. So there will be maybe I like saw a bunch of movies that I want to review, and so it'll be like a review episode, or maybe I just have like a topic about the movie industry that I want to talk about. The bonus episodes will try to keep as movie centric as possible, but honestly, if there's some super crazy thing that I want to talk about, that's kind of the place for that stuff. And so it'll be, one Monday will be a script episode, the next Monday will be one of these other episodes, and then the next Monday after that will be another script episode. So that's kind of the way I want to be rolling this stuff out. And I'm currently in the process of trying to record and bank as many of these episodes as I can, so then I don't have to have these big gaps and breaks in between recording of episodes again. It was just kind of one of those situations where we had a lot of stuff happen, a lot of stuff go down that just was really getting in the way. And since I do have a day job, it gets to be very busy. So luckily for me, I was able to fill some of my spare time with my own writing projects, and that's been a lot of fun. But I've had to step away from the podcast, and honestly, I miss it. So can't wait to come back in October and just bring all of this content that I've been sitting on and put it out there. And I hope you guys like it, and I hope you're able to, bring your friends along for the journey. And if you want to check out some of that bonus content, I hope you get over to that as well. Currently, in the meantime, we do have a Patreon, which I believe is patreon.com/shelved podcast. It's been a while since I've been on the Patreon just because I haven't been working on the show lately. But that's another way if you want to support the show. There are some rewards over there. Another thing I am considering doing is reaching out to fans of the show to have them on the show. So I do have a hookup for my recorder to hook up to my phone to do phone interviews, and that's how all these interviews and stuff I'm going to be doing are going to be conducted. But I would also like to just hear from the fans, or if you have like some movie topics that you want to talk about, we can do that. So I was thinking about on Sundays trying to get someone on who just, have like an hour-long phone conversation. And I would prefer it be one of those things where you bring the topic, and maybe sometimes I'll just put a shout out on the Twitter and be like, hey, look, I'm looking to talk to somebody about this specific topic who wants to call in, and then we can try to connect through there. So if you want to be involved, like if you have a film thing you want to talk about, a script thing you want to talk about, you can email me right now, and we'll get that set up. We'll work out something with a schedule. Probably, obviously, on the weekends. Currently working Saturdays, so probably do a lot of that on Sundays. So if you have a free Sunday and you want to call into the show, just email me over at shelvedfilmpodcast@gmail.com, or hit me up on Twitter @shelvedpodcast. Just slide into those DMs, and we'll get something scheduled. And honestly, if you're like free right then and there, and I'm free right then and there, we might just set it up and do it. And I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you have to say. And hey, this is your chance to be on a podcast, which is a lot of fun. You can take that around and show it to people. I have some people that I might be reaching out to be like, "Hey man, would you wanna come on and chat with me for a little bit?" Just to some people that I've known or have met through Twitter that I think would have a lot of interesting opinions on some stuff. And I think that'd be really fun. One of my favorite things about my position, which I don't really have a position, but I guess I have a platform, is to be able to communicate and help the people that don't really have that platform, or just want to get their opinions out there but don't really know how. So I think that'll be a really fun way. So if you're interested, email at shelvedfilmpodcast@gmail.com or hit me up on the Twitter. This has been a really awkward episode. I can tell I'm talking a little weird and probably sound a little uncomfortable because literally I haven't been on the microphone in what feels like 6 months, even though I know it hasn't been that long, but it's been a while. So sorry about that. And the content is coming. Look for October 1st as kind of the launch of our season 2 is what I'm calling it. So that's going to be kind of the end of the update for today's show. I do have some review stuff I want to talk about, and I might be dropping a couple random episodes in between now and October. So if that happens, keep your eyes open, keep subscribed to the feed and all that. Be sure to rate us on iTunes. That is one of the best ways to help the show. Just takes a few seconds. You can do it right on your phone. So thanks for listening, and we will see you in October for our Season 2 launch.